So we'll start with the patterns of history in relation to seeing the future. And I think this is really important for like how we're going to be building businesses with AI, and what does that kind of look like, and how can we get a bit of a scope moving forward. And so we've got basically the movement and what was the other thing? The technology, the tech. And so the era I want to start with was 1400, ending 1700. So again, looking at history to look forward. The movement of the 1400s, anyone know that era? Renaissance, correct. The Renaissance period. And so this was a massive emergence of art and culture, and the visionary of the time, Da Vinci, who headed this in the 1400s, right? So I've got a book on Da Vinci, it's like the stick back home with all his artwork and stuff. The dude wasn't just an artist, he was also an engineer, a community architect, right? And he actually did work for the Roman Catholic Church, private work, one-on-one, where he went to them, and he was glorified in this time and era, not just for his pieces of art, but more specifically how it started to shift humanity forward. So to what you were talking about earlier, a good visionary, or maybe it was yourself, brings a new reality that God channels through you to be able to give humanity a new edge, a new way of living. And so can anyone guess the technology that came after the minds and the souls of humanity were now destroyed as it was, and reimagined the way of how we could live, both through his art, his architecture, his engineering? He pushed the technology so far forward in terms of how we can think and be, that there was a technology that came not too long after. Can anyone guess what it is? The scientific method. It got our brains thinking. Oh shit, the Vitruvian Man, you know, the one that's like this? Or Mona Lisa, the beauty. Man, where do we come from? Now that I can see the beauty of God within this painting, I can behold the question of maybe where do we come from? What are things made out of? Maybe we should start investigating that. The questions start to emerge into a new technology, right? And so this repeats, like, this isn't just one-off. Like, Da Vinci was just one of the visionaries. The other one here was the invention of modern day power, how to generate power, and then the study of it into electricity, light bulbs, etc. So the use of it. Was it Edison? But some more recent ones are obviously like agriculture somewhere up here too, right? And there was a whole culture that started that, like the Egyptians were said to be the first to kind of invent agriculture as we know it. And so it doesn't always also just have to be a certain person. I mean, maybe it was the pharaoh, maybe it was just the collective of the people thinking together. But the one that we're most familiar with is the internet. And obviously before the internet, it was the semiconductor. And really, if I was to be a bit, insincere, it would be war that channeled this, right? Unfortunately, it got countries fighting against one another for competitive advantage, and through that technology came to be. So also it can become out of darkness, which is key to remember why both an evil man and a good man can succeed. But really, what did the internet spark? Commerce, communication. Like you tell someone 3,000 years ago that you can talk with someone through a device. live, real time, and see their face. And they could be in England, or they could be in New Zealand. Isn't there like telepathy? Isn't it? Or is it just our... I believe they were. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just know modern technology. Right, social media, obviously one of the bigger ones that came out of the internet. And so the visionary of the time. Yeah. And so there's always someone willing to put it all at risk. You know, he died at 54 or whatever it was. Dude just knew it. I mean, even like his number one book, right? Like I mentioned earlier. And now here we are, boys. We're at this emergence where we've got all of this. In this present day and age. And we've got...
See how the curve accelerated? We started in 1400, and we had to wait like 600 years nearly to get to the internet. And now in 35 years, I don't know where to get into this, but yeah.
I'm missing a couple that bear in mind. Transport, Henry Ford, he's a visionary, right? There's a few more that I could have listed, but for the sake of getting through it. Obviously, name of the game. Now, intelligence is no longer just centralized within ourselves. It is abundant, free. It's not at edge as much as it was. It's only becoming more like that. And so what does the future look like, considering all things? Can we uncover the pattern? And this is what I spend my time, far too much time thinking about.
I love this thought. Is it, is the principle we're identifying as, is it management or is it just a remembering of how we're supposed to operate as well?
Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, it's like, once you're getting to this level of awareness, and some things we'll get into after this on how to bring it into our actual lives, like everything is up to the beholder. Every single guy in this room, we're all capable, once you know the secrets, you know, like, oh man, it's available freely to everyone, so long as your intention is, like, there's these certain laws we abide by. I think it's going, like, this is just my personal opinion of where I think it's going. I think if we look at this one, from the Renaissance period to the scientific method, it kind of 180'd. This one's very intuitive, it's like artsy, it's somewhat engineering, but this is very rational, very logic-minded and imperative. And so to me, it's an abundance of this that made a gap for this. And so when I see like a lot of intelligence and noise, and there's just like too many podcasts out there, too much information, I think info is going so far up that there leaves a hole, and for me that hole is a certain level of what I call vibe creation, where people don't really care about so much being right anymore, being informed, as they do about just having a vibe or a sense of being around things, where it's like I'm entering a room and I'm paying for this course or this coaching program now, and it's just fucking cool. I like being around him. Versus, oh, he's the latest strategist on like XYZ outcome. That's a bonus for sure. I think humans will always love that so long as we love innovation. But to me, it's like the clue is like when there is an abundance of something, it's like what's the law of like equal and opposite reaction? So vibe creation, an example of that could be more interactive experiences, stuff that we can't quite imagine right now that are out of the binary construct. I'll give you an example. When we turn a light switch on in a room, it's binary, right? Off and on. And some have the interactive of like, you can slowly make it glow or not. A vibe will be both external and internal in terms of how it operates, so it matches your frequency. So I can imagine it being like this, where because of AI, because of our devices being on us all the time, we're tracked, we're monitored, most of us can't help it. We're wearing Whoop bands, Apple Watches, whatever it is. And I think that technology is only becoming more abundant. Health and fitness is one of the fastest growing, right? I can imagine a day where we enter a room and the vibe attunes to the frequency of everyone based on your HRV, based on your metric data, social profiles, where you flew in from, whatever it is. And so it might be an actual room, physical, tangible experience, as it might be the music, the lighting, all the sensory inputs. Like real material vibes. And I'm not just thinking online here, because I think that's also getting really noisy. And so I just get the inkling that humans are just wanting more experience. I mean, it's even shown in the data. I can show you this slide here. Experience is a product. 61% of millennials are particularly drawn to experiential purchases, emphasizing how much they prioritize memorable, shareable moments over physical, material goods. Americans are all about making memories over buying material goods, with 58% saying they'd rather spend money on experiences, 14% higher than the global average. So the younger generations care more. I saw another stat that said Gen Z spends on average 11,000 USD on holiday. And the average is like 60K a year on a good salary. Like a sixth of your income on an experience. And global travel too. It's becoming more global. Like digital nomadism is not exclusive to just entrepreneurs now, because of all these different visas that are opening up. And then the last one that's the home run for me is it's going to be the richest generation in history. By 2030, millennials will hold over 20 trillion. So the great wealth transfer, I'm sure you know about it, but that will 2x what we currently own. So if you've got 100K right now, you get 200K. That's in the next 10, 20 years from your parents. Wow, it just gives you like a sense of like, where's my position and all that, you know? And this is just the summary of like a million different individuals citing for this thing, desiring it. And some of it, like I believe the difference between this and other inventions is that this is what God wanted. Whether it was war or whether it was the internet, there's no darkness without the light. There's no light without the darkness. And so vibe creation is not the thing. Like that's just my take on like what I think will be part of it. It's by no means going to be the thing. What I can see though is like intelligence and information is continually going up. And so the technology will accommodate that with both wearables and then obviously guys want to chuck chips in our brains. But because of that, like it's just simply supply demand. The value of information is no longer there as much as it was earlier. And so what is the opposite of information? Well, it's the level of the mind versus the level of the body, right? And so to me, to sum it all up, in our current day, like minds are oversaturated, bodies are overstimulated, and our souls are starving. And so I think whatever that looks like, I have no idea. But that's at least what it feels like for the majority of humans, like where the suicide rates are through the roof, you know? Like our generation is struggling. We're all good because we're working online and things like this, and we're out here living the nomad life, but bro, back in our homes where we're actually from, it's chaotic out there, man. People are solo, they're the most isolated people in history. And I've got all the stats like that. I've been building this up, like where are we going? I can show you the deck, but it's pretty grim. And so I think the way forward, at least what I'm feeling intuitively, is that God's wanting vibes now. Hey guys, enough information. You've drowned your brains enough. You're living in the strategist mindset of thinking that you're one paragraph away from understanding, but do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6 from the wisest man in history. Yeah, and the forces are, like I was mentioning at the very start of today, it was like this has an OS now that we chat to for therapy and like, can I do this? Can I get permission? Then we've got like clients as an OS almost, you know, how are we doing things for clients to generate leads, et cetera, et cetera. And then we've got social presence too, of like imposter syndrome and performing online, and like that to me is its own world. Like imagine that's like everyone's using ChatGPT in the world, and then like this is the, like we're like to be down this end, right? But this is what it's made out of. It's like now we're getting fed worse information than listening to our intuition. And so that's what I want to move into now. Cool? We'll seal this all off with one big full circle.